Have y'all noticed that most stress advice falls into two buckets? It's either cognitive, look at the situation differently, stop trying to control what you can't control, or it's emotional, feel your feelings, practice self compassion. Sometimes it's a combination of the two, rewire your brain for gratitude. But there's a third bucket. And until we go there, cognitive and emotional solutions won't stick. Unsurprisingly, you could probably guess from the name of our podcast, it's the body, it's your nervous system, it's the somatic reality of what stress actually is. Because when you are in fight or flight, when your breath is really shallow, when your chest is tight, when your thoughts are racing, when that buzzing urgency keeps telling you to move faster, no amount of reminding yourself to not worry about others' actions or listing the things that you should be grateful for is going to land. You're literally in a different physiological state, and your brain can't access those tools. But when you're grounded, when your breath is deep, when your shoulders are relaxed, when your thoughts are steady and clear, suddenly everything gets easier. You can see all your options. You can remember that this moment, whether it's a fight with your partner, a work deadline, or a holiday family dinner, isn't life or death. This episode of The Body Knows is specifically geared towards holiday stress and overwhelm, but only because that's when we thought of this topic. What we're about to share applies anytime the pressure of stress is bearing down on you. Basically, we're giving you your nervous system toolkit. First, how to recognize when you're slipping out of your grounded, centered self and into that activated state. Second, simple somatic practices you can do in the car, in the bathroom, anywhere you can steal even just 5 minutes. And third, the difference between doing somatic practices like breathing as just checking a task off the list and doing it in a way that actually brings you home to yourself. Because yes, there is such an important difference and nobody ever talks about it. All right, y'all. I'm Leona Waller. You're about to meet my brilliant co-host, Anna Alley. Happy holidays. Let's get into it. Look, there's a ton of resources out there that are, in our opinion, talking about like the mental, like the tangible, this is how you make holiday stress better. This is how you prioritize and time block your day, whatever. This is how you save time. And then a lot of like the emotional of like, okay, this is how you like set better boundaries and this is how you relate differently and this is how you give yourself a break. Um
And that's like intellectualizing our emotions, right?
Yes. Honestly,
Not my and Leona's and a lot of other people's versions of what to do with our emotions. Okay, sorry.
yeah. Thank you for explaining that. Yeah, so there's a reason I'm doing it with my hands. It's like all up here. There's all of this kind of like heady stuff. And we believe there's a third piece. You'll probably be able to guess it based on the name of this podcast, that we are missing. And it's about just not just, but like looking at the physical reaction or state our nervous system is having, our body is having, and working directly with the nervous system, with the body to come back into a feeling of being like grounded and resourced and like you're in your right mind, you're in like your mature adult self rather than your inner child, and you're able to think clearly and you're able to take deep breaths and you're able to see that like these are the holidays and the world isn't going to end. Like nobody's going to die because you were late to the Christmas party or whatever. And for us, that really starts actually with the body. And then like the mental stuff gets so much easier when you start with the body.
Because the body knows, right?
Because the body knows. So we're gonna offer some like a way of thinking about this, a way of understanding the holiday stress and stress in general that's from this more nervous system, body focused perspective. And also, we have some gifts for you guys. We have some holiday gifts. We have some offerings. We'll talk about those later. Um, so Anna's gonna help me because she has, like, the actual trauma-informed perspective, and I'm gonna say some things, and she's gonna be like, "Caveat." Thank you.
Finger up. Hold on.
So, I think where I wanna start is, like, uh, feeling into the difference. Take a moment to feel into the difference of when you are feeling a little frenetic, when and you're feeling like your chest, your breath is only in your chest. You're having short, shallow breaths, and you're trying to like, you think that you just need to like move a little bit more quickly to like make everything okay and make yourself feel better. Um, this is actually you being in fight or flight. Anna, do you want to say more on that?
No, you nailed it. Yeah, yeah. I mean yes. Um, and the way, I think you did a perfect job at, what are the bodily sensations? What are the things I can track that cue me in to the fact that I'm in this fight or flight state? And so, like you said, like I'm feeling fast. I'm feeling the sense of urgency inside. There's a jittery, there's a tension in my upper body a lot of the time. My breathing is short and shallow and fast. It's in my chest and not like deep and full in my belly.
Yeah.
And so we can sort of the other thing we can track are our mental thoughts. If our thoughts are racing, right?
Mhm.
All of that are indicators that our system is in a lot of activation right now.
Mhm. Yeah. And then on the other end of the spectrum, the place that we love to be, but I think we are really good at not being in 90% of the time, is
Easily.
like when you can take full deep breaths into like your soft belly. Like when someone asks you a question or tells you that something has changed, and your first response is just like, okay, well, let's think about this.
Yeah.
And your
Yeah.
shoulders are relaxed, your jaw is relaxed, you feel like your thoughts are, I don't wanna say slow, but they're just, like, deliberate and they're clear, and, like, you have access to all of the different options, and you're like, "Well, I can totally change my plans, or I can push everything back 10 minutes, or I could text that person and ask them if they could do it for me. Let's, like, take a couple minutes and think about this." And we want to help all of you get into that place.
Yes. And there's two, I feel like in my mind, what comes to mind is there's two ways to get there. You can either start there and you can really intentionally go into some sort of practice to start there and then enter into an environment that has stressors. And or once you're in that environment with stressors, you can either remove yourself in some way or within the environment itself, do something to help deactivate the system a bit.
Yeah, yeah, and that's, like, such a key thing, like, so I think Anna and I spend a lot of time in our own emotional health struggles trying to change, like, the external environment to make us feel emotionally better, and we love somatics and embodiment because you're like, "Oh, actually, the external environment can stay, and I can remove myself. I can find a safe place, a bathroom, my bed, a pillow, to go my car, to, like, go reground and recenter, and that's actually entirely body-based, and need, like I don't need this Christmas party to get less passive aggressive or whatever. I mean, don't get me wrong, that can be deeply triggering and yeah.
Yes, and so I guess I do wanna say then, like, okay, we're talking to, like, a really specific audience here as
Mhm.
well. It's there's a lot of misinformation in the somatics world where people end up seeing this as someone saying, "Stay in the abusive situation and just change how you relate to it." It's like, "Okay, no, we're not saying that," right? We're talking about sort of that neutral mid zone of like, "Man, the holidays are stressful. My childhood shit gets triggered when mom says that," like, but, like, all things considered, you're safe, you belong, you're dignified. right? We're in
Yeah.
like a middle zone. We're not at any extreme here and saying just change this thing in your body and you should be able to handle this fucked up experience. No, 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 no.
No, no,
And
never.
yeah, and we see that a lot. And there's a lot of people with a lot of backlash against the somatics world right now because there's a misinterpretation here taking
Mhm.
place. And so I do want to just
Oh, thank you for weaving that in. Like, this is really applying to those short-term situations that are stressful and overwhelming.
yeah.
And like, you love everyone involved, but you're all getting on each other's nerves.
Yes, because everyone else is stressed, right? Because
Yeah, totally.
the potatoes burned and Gary
W-
got stuck in traffic and Susan
Yeah,
is, whatever, right?
yeah. The baby's crying. The cat peed on the rug. Like, what happens when we all get to into close quarters with seasonal affective disorder? So just like there is a way instead of just being like, I just need to grit my teeth and get through it, and I have to be faster and more productive and more on it. And there is a way of being like, oh, I can take 5 minutes, 10 minutes to myself and just using somatic practices come back to that really like grounded is, like, the best word I have for it, like, you're and I think why grounded is so good because it really captures that, like, you have deepened, you have come out of the fuzzy, frenetic, buzzy mind rushing, and you've dropped down into a deeper, slower part of your body where you feel like you have capacity, like, you just feel capable. You understand the stakes are low. And so you have access to all of your different resources and you're able to breathe deeply. And I think what's I also want to say is like uh even it's a spectrum from grounded to fight or flight is a spectrum. And I catch in myself and the people I love um that even if you're not totally into fight or flight, like you can tell when someone's energy is starting to rise out of, their belly, out of a feeling of being, like, totally relaxed, totally chill, and they're rising up into this more frenetic their energy is in their collarbones, their breath is in their chest, their voice gets higher, like, you
They're
can even
talking fast.
they're talking fast. Yeah, and, like, really catching yourself even just there of, like, "Oh, it's rising," and it's, great if you can catch it when it's rising because it means you probably aren't triggered. You haven't fully gone into nervous system activation, but you're starting to get it, and you can catch yourself and you can be like, "I'm gonna go slow down.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go slow down."
yeah.
And so, there are a couple ways to do this, and
Hey, wait,
we
can
yeah,
I jump in for a minute? I just wanna add, let's talk about, okay, how do I know that I'm grounded? And the other word I like to use is centered and grounded.
mm,
And the nervous system terminology for this is your window of tolerance. And we've talked about this in another episode if you wanna dive into that more technical side. Um, but in my body, I feel steady. I feel
mm,
capable. I have access to curiosity and creativity and play. I am an effective communicator. Uh, there's more on this list. I can think rationally.
mhm,
And then those maybe just words there are not slow as in like a sluggish, but slow as in there's no urgency, there's no rush, there's nothing like, "Oh, man, I gotta do something right now." There's just this, like, I could sit here and breathe and not do anything, and it's all gonna be okay.
mhm.
Um, yeah, just to, yeah, throw into how do I know once I'm arrived, right? How do what are the things I'm looking for here? I have access to play and laughter and all these things. And then of course it's a spectrum. And it's not that I need to get all the way back to like full grounded epic baseline, right? But can I get myself a little closer doing a 2 minute, 5 minute, 10 minute practice in the bathroom, in the car, walking around the block, going out into the backyard, etc.
Yeah. I love that, and it might even help some people, like, I was talking to my boyfriend about it, and, our the words we use are like, "Oh, am I in fire energy?" Which sometimes, like, it feels great to be fire fast, like, doing things super productive, but sometimes, like, that's the wrong energy to meet the moment, and I'm gonna drop into, like, earth energy, or I'm gonna drop into, like, water energy, like, um, a little bit more steady, a little bit more flowing, a little bit more like, "Nah, less of this." Anna had all the words. I'm gonna just give you the embodied example.
This is our synergy.
Yes. Um, and so, yeah, we wanna just give you some really short practices, and we have made some practices, that we're also gonna release on our podcast. So if you, like, need someone to guide you through something, we have made some for you. But we also just wanna, like, explain really basically what you can do and what you can experiment with if you're, like, you pulled up at the Christmas party and you're sitting in your car and you're like, "How can I get a little bit more grounded and centered in this moment?" We wanna give you some options. Anna,
I
do you
love
wanna
it.
Yeah, do you wanna take it away because this is your wheelhouse?
Oh gosh, I have to pick somewhere to start. Okay. Okay. So a really this is more of like a visualization one, perhaps. But try to imagine like that grounded, that centered version of me. I'll talk about of Anna. Some people like will give it a name, right? Um, if that helps. Um, but like that earth energy, that water energy, whatever it is, whatever archetype maybe you want to identify with, choose your pathway there. Um, but you imagine just breathing into that. So as you breathe into your body, you're expanding into your body, into that texture of thing. And then additionally, you can imagine this frenetic energy or maybe like the anger or the overwhelm as a separate related thing within you. And so as you breathe, you're just breathing a little space between you and that overwhelm, between you and that anger, between you and that stress, so that you have a little more room to witness it and you unblend with it a little as well, if that
Mm,
makes sense. And we use our breath to do that. And so as
mm,
we breathe in and we just try to breathe a little space between myself, who the texture I want to embody in this moment, and this thing that I'm feeling. And we're not pushing it away. We're not breathing to push it away. We're not breathing to fix it. We're not breathing to shut it down. We're just breathing so we can look at it a little better. Because imagine, if you're like looking at a dot on the page and it's like right in front of your eye, you can't see anything. You need to breathe a little bit so there's a little more space so we get some more perspective. And then we can understand it better. We can relate to it differently. And we can see that there's more going on than just this one thing that's absorbed our full attention.
mm. I love that. I immediately, for me, think of people pleasing. Of like,
Mm,
before I walk into a party where I can for me, that's like my social anxiety, like it's a people pleasing. Like just breathing some space in between me and my fawn response. Like,
exactly.
oh, I love that.
Exactly. And so a good thing to practice beforehand in the non-stressful scenario is breathing into that self energy, of breathing into that archetype you want to embody, of breathing into grounded centeredness so that there's some familiarity within like the neural pathways of your body of when I intend to do this thing with my breath, this is what I experience. We get better with it over time. It's more accessible. We reach more deeply into it, and then we have it as a tool in our toolkit at the dinner table when Aunt Cindy
Mm.
says the thing. I'm saying a bunch of random names. This is nothing against any of these names or people named this.
We love you, Aunt Cindy.
Yes.
I don't even know if that's a real person.
I'm sure there's a million Aunt Cindy's in this country. um, okay, I really love that one.
Mm.
And then another one that I use absolutely all the time is just a simple grounding practice, when you're seated.
Mhm.
And so right now I'm seated, and so there is a sensation of pressure on my sit bones and on the backs of my thighs and on the soles of my feet. And I can just bring my awareness to that sensation. I can like wiggle my hips a little bit and feel like, oh, there's a change in pressure on my sit bones. There's a change in pressure on my thighs, on my toes. And then I breathe with that as well. I bring my awareness to the breath, and I'm sort of moving between these two things: breath, sensation of gravity on my body. Breath, deep breath into my belly, right? Not to my chest, into my belly. Try to like push on your waistband, or put a hand on your belly if you can. Um, and just yeah, attention, awareness on those sensations, breath, and the force of gravity on your body.
Mm.
And these help bring you down into that grounded centeredness again. If you're feeling a lot of activation, like that frenetic, a lot of the time we can't just breathe our way into groundedness. We need to actually utilize and disperse some of that energy. And again, it's tricky during the holidays. You're already at dinner. You already got up to go to the bathroom. You're not going to do it again. So, a really subtle thing you can do there is like wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes. And this helps activate those similar pathways for fight or flight. And breathe again. Breathe. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, breathe. And then go into that grounding practice of like wiggle your sit bones a little bit and notice that pressure there.
Mhm. Ah, I immediately just think of a dog, after a dog's kind of gone, like, in a little bit of a tussle with another dog, and when it walks away, it's just like, "Ah."
Yeah. It shakes it off and then resets. Yeah. Shaking is
Yeah.
one of the best resets. If there's
Yeah.
anything you can do in the bathroom during your 5 minute I need to go reset, it's shake. It's shake every single part of you like a dog.
Yeah. And we have an entire podcast all about, like, coming out of, like, dispersing this activation energy, so I'll link that in the show notes too.
Yeah. Uh,
And then I just
yeah.
sorry, did
Sorry.
I interrupt you?
Hmm. Oh, no, I was gonna say there was actually another one, this last one that I thought of,
Yeah.
but now it's left my mind.
Okay, great. My turn. Hold
So
on.
it's your turn.
People are texting me. Go away. Um, so my go-to, and this is it's so basic, but it works for me, and so I'm gonna just throw it out there, is just breathing. And again, this is like, I wouldn't say when I'm like in full activation, but when I'm noticing a feeling of urgency start to like slip in, when I'm noticing that I'm talking faster, when I'm noticing that my voice is getting higher, just breathing.
Yeah.
And the key here for me isn't that I'm just like, okay, now I just take a bunch of deep breaths. And then I like rush off with whatever I was doing. Like, the point is that I am, embodying a slowing down and a steadying and a dropping in with my breath. And so with every inhale, I'm bringing more of myself into this present moment. Come here, come here, come here. Whatever you're thinking about, that can float away. Come here. Exhale, release and drop a little bit lower into my belly. Inhale, more of me here. I'm okay. I'm safe. I don't have to think about those things right now. Exhale, drop, relax into my body. Inhale. No one is dying. See, this feels nice. Exhale. I'm steady. I'm safe. I'm grounded. I'm centered. And for me, just starting there, sometimes that's the first step I need to be like, "Oh, actually, I do need to go shake something off. Oh, I actually, now I can, like, breathe that part of me a little bit farther away." But if I can just be like, "Leonie, you're gonna do 3 deep breaths, and you're not gonna just do them like you're doing a homework assignment and checking it off the list and running off, but, like, you're gonna really give your full consciousness, your full trust to these 3, 5 deep breaths and remind yourself that you're safe and that you're okay and that, like, it's not gonna be World War III if you don't run off to do that errand in this exact moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
There's not urgency.
yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
and so that's, like, the practice that I made for y'all is just, like, a really short 5 to 7. I'm editing it, so I don't know how long it's gonna be. I'm trying to keep it short, but it's not me an honest strong suit. Uh, so, just, like, a really simple breathing practice as, like, sitting in the car, sitting in the bathroom, you can put on your headphones, and you can just remember that you don't need to go into a shouting match with your uncle or whatever it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you wanna share anything about the practices you were thinking about making?
Um, I'm definitely struggling with picking which ones I wanted to. So I'm hesitant to say exactly what I'm gonna offer. But I guess a big one that I wanna share is how to help deactivate.
Mm,
And so, because I think that's sort of that can be one of the hardest things is catching ourselves while we're activating. Like, that takes some real subtle awareness there,
mhm,
and usually we catch ourselves once we're already freaking out inside.
mm,
And so one of the ones I definitely wanna share is I'm gonna go into the bathroom for 3 minutes and do a practice that's gonna help me disperse that activation energy and then ground down a little.
mm,
Um, and then the other what I'm really thinking of is going back to this idea of grounded and centered. That physical embodiment for me, the grounded is I'm in my pelvis, and the centered is I'm along my spine.
mm,
And so, actually, just bringing your awareness to these parts of your body, tapping down your spine, perhaps as you go, or rotating and feeling and noticing each vertebrae as you do that. Okay, this is my center point. Like, this is, if I were like revolve, this is my center point. And then if I were to ground, like that's my pelvis, right? That's my legs and my feet. And so just bringing awareness to those parts of the body help ground and center us.
great. Well, Anna isn't making any promises. We're gonna see what which crap she cooks up for us. By the time this podcast goes out, it will come out with the breathing meditation that I have made. So you will have access to something, and then we'll just sprinkle out a few more. And so check
Yes.
the podcast feed, check the Substack, check the YouTube to see what else we have up.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Is there anything else?
I want to say, you got this. I got this. Holidays are hard. And maybe, we can all just be in this together somehow.
Yeah, I love that. There like, I do feel like, that point about it's hard to catch yourself.
Yeah.
Like, it is when what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say 3 things at once. Um, there's something about, 1, like, having a person, a family member, your sibling, your partner, whoever that's, like, with you in the party that, like, you're not alone, helps me actually catch myself more because I don't like, sometimes I feel like I'm so deeply in performing that everything is fine and I'm having a great time that I don't even know that I'm performing and I don't even know that I'm lying to myself. But having, like, an anchor person, having your partner, your friend, your family member that, like, is the person you're generally actually authentic with, like, just them looking at you and you can be like, "Whoa, I've been full of shit all this time and I need to go to the bathroom." So,
I
like,
love it.
having, like, a little something a person, something that helps you as, like, a touch point, and then just being gentle with yourself. Basically, the fastest way to make sure you will stay activated and ungrounded is by being mean to yourself.
Yep. So if that's your goal, just be mean.
Yeah. Self-loathing, criticism, inner criticism.
Works great for me.
Yeah, you can't go wrong. You will stay fight or flight, you'll ratchet yourself up 10% at a time with every inner critic. Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah, and I love the rod and fawn actually, Leona, 'cause that makes me wanna say, um, tracking fawn can be probably the hardest one in ourselves and in another, but there are still, like, key indicators. A big part of it is, like, again, like, your energy is gonna be high. You're gonna feel like yourself up here, not, like, deep and rooted and grounded. You're gonna feel tension maybe in your shoulders. If your jaw is hurting because 'cause you're smiling so much, probably an indicator you're in fawn. It is for me, at least. Um, so that's a really good one too that we can track in our friends and our partners and help them with when we know, oh, like Jamie also has social anxiety and does the people pleaser thing. And I know like, oh, when her smile gets really big, I'm like, oh, okay, I know my homegirl is actually freaking out right now. And I can just grab her for a minute, and like put my arms around her and just help pull her out and into something else,
Yeah.
just for a moment. And then if there's someone who's really close, you're like, "Hey, babe, I just wanted to take a minute to ground or center or breathe. Can you do that with me?"
Yeah.
And we can support each other in this way.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. That's such a good holiday message. Oh, and I have to add my marker for fawn is that I'm exhausted. Like,
Mm.
for me, when I've been at a party for an hour and I'm like, "I don't know if I'm gonna make it," it's because I'm fully in fawn and I'm not being myself at all. Um, okay, we hope you enjoy that as our holiday message. I think that was
And
a good
we're
one.
definitely excited to send out these guided practices. This may be a new thing as well that we keep doing.
Yeah.
Your feedback is always a great indicator if we should keep doing it or not. So those likes, those comments, those shares, they really help us out.
Yeah, they go really far. That will be your holiday gift to us. If you wanna give us something back, like it. Like, give it a heart. Subscribe. Okay, y'all, happy holidays. Thank you so much for being with us, and we hope to see you on the meditations.